Hello ratbags, it's Jade. Welcome to a Valheim update video. Today's another patch and it's transporting all the stuff that was in the public test server. So I kind of am recycling some of this content today, pretty much giving you a quick brief look at some of the revamped bosses. That's the main focus, I would say, of this update, a visual look. There are lots of improvements as well, particularly for the Harpoon. And there was another small addition that I haven't covered since I last did this first preview video. So we're going to take a look at some of this stuff, and I am going to go over everything we know so far about the Hearth and Home update. I know a lot of you guys are desperate for some new content for the game, and I think the devs are doing a great job in communicating these patches and hotfixes, but for sure we want to see some more teases, so I'm going to break down everything we do know about the Hearth and Home update today. So please make sure you're liking and subscribing for the best in survival games news, open world stuff as well, and let's go. So the patch notes first. They've fixed smelt issue when a long time has passed since visiting, 1,000 days or 10,000 days, 30-second pre-world save warning added, stone stair physics fix, inventory screen, gamepad focus fix, large creature visual overhaul which you saw at the start and in a previous video, troll ragdoll material fix, harpoon mechanics overhauled. Engine updated with some stability improvements, Draugr Archer visual fixes, 1 and 2 star Draugrs sometimes got the wrong material, they fixed issues when crafting station is destroyed while in use, and the creature group spawning adjusted to avoid spawning over total limit. Now I believe that wasn't happening to everyone, but some of you guys were noticing a huge overspawn of certain stuff. And they updated the credits and localization fixes too. So as I said, I do feel like I'm recycling content a little bit with this. I've already done the video on the PTS, and normally when the patch comes out, there's some other stuff to really go over, like there's some brand new interviews or we see some teases, but it's been pretty quiet in Valheim land. Apart from the PTS stuff that's gone up in the Discord, if you want to try the test servers, you have to join the Discord and you have to look for the public test channel, and all the details will be in the pin section, and you can try out some of these hotfixes. Now I'm hoping in the future we will get a glimpse of what's to come, but I've got a feeling they'll probably keep it still a bit secret, as they maybe want to make a big impact when the Hearth and Home update is actually here. But yeah, if you hadn't seen that previous video and you haven't seen any of the changes already and you can't wait until you actually face off against them, well, the troll has been made a little bit more meaner looking, a little bit more defined. He's basically got a six-pack now. Maybe the hair and nails look a little bit more detailed too, and then you can see obviously the Elder God has got a lot more pink going on. Yes, he definitely needs that. The pink eyes are great, and obviously got more the pink sort of, I guess it's sap, maybe energy sap coming through his body as well. And then Bowmass has just got a ton of new bones inside him. He's got that big massive rip inside him as well, and the great big animal sort of skull hanging off of his shoulder. This is great to see. I don't mind some visual improvements. They look great. They've done a great job, and yeah, they definitely look a bit more scary and a little bit more defined now. Now in terms of the Harpoon, I don't think too much has changed. Maybe a little bit more stamina use when you're using it, but actually visually it looks a little bit more like a rope now instead of just an elastic band. I think that was one of the major visual changes to using the Harpoon. Small but subtle changes, it looks good, and I think they also maybe got rid of some little exploits that were hanging around it, because basically when we asked them in Discord, they said that you really shouldn't notice too much different about it. So yeah, that's the only thing that I've really gathered, judging by the patch notes and what they put on Steam. So as we've just got some random footage of me messing around with some mods inside the sort of fire biome that hasn't been finished, let's talk a little bit about updates. I think this year or last year has been really difficult for a lot of game devs. A lot of games that have come out, we know that a lot of people kind of no-life them. And I say that and that sounds like a negative, but I'm really not trying to be. But I definitely feel like sometimes we do get through a lot of content pretty quickly. And generally when you're a really big fan of the game, that's all good, that's all well and good. But early access games, you know, some of these updates do take their time. Now, I think Iron Gate probably do need to try and set some sort of expectations maybe about when stuff might come. It's been just a little bit vague. Seeing the roadmap's good, and I don't want to put any pressure on them, but I could see definitely in the community and drop off in players that are dropping off playing the game, that there are a lot of people angsty about what's going to be coming and what kind of content they're going to be playing. I add to that though that, as I said, because of the pandemic, more and more people kind of binged their games, even more than they normally would. And sometimes it's only maybe a select few that would put like 60 hours into a game in the first week. But because of all the situation last year, so many of us were spending more time playing games at an increased rate. It kind of has put a lot of pressure on a lot of games. A lot of games are like these live service games. And although Valheim isn't that, early access titles, good ones anyway, tend to update regularly and they tend to give lots of content. And obviously I think Valheim had a very set opinion that it wasn't maybe going to do millions and millions of copies, so it'd have a small fan base and they'd be happy with the content that would come. And so all this huge success means that you are going to get even more people involved, and I guess that does hypen up and gives expectations a little bit higher. So in one way, I kind of sometimes want to be critical, and then I kind of understand why some things aren't updated as quickly, but I get both sides. I get why the community wants some new content, and I also understand why the devs feel they don't need to. They've made millions and they're doing their best with the game. They're updating it still. They're doing lots of patches to make it stable, and that's important, just as important too. So I guess, what do you guys want? Do you want more stability like this, where it's adding and improving things, or do you want to see actual more focus on the new content to come that may end up being a little bit more buggy or broken? Now, if you're asking why they can change the bosses but not add any of the other stuff, well, they're quite two different departments. The art guy, Robin, I'm pretty sure, and everyone else that's working on the art and stuff, you know, that's not really the hard coding of the game. So it's very different departments. I don't think it would probably take too much in getting the new meshes or the new designs. Obviously, they're working on that stuff, and then Richard, the actual game designer, is doing his stuff. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Valheim's been so successful, and I definitely feel like there's a lot of people out there that are just content to play it as it is. But I do know quite a lot, including myself. I'm probably not going to revisit it properly now until Hearth and Home comes. I was trying to do lots of mod showcases, but I did get just a little bit swamped with other stuff, and I feel like I've dropped off the sort of table a little bit and shown you guys some of that stuff. And not everyone's into mods, especially as the mods you do have to use third-party website, and some people are worried that you're going to get some infectious diseases on your PC and stuff, which I understand. But yeah, I just thought we'd have a little bit of a convo today, so let me know what you prefer. Like I said, I do think we are all playing games a little bit quicker than we do, and that means there's maybe some unfair expectation on games, but equally, all early access games need to provide content on a regular basis, because I've seen it time and time again over the hundreds of games I've covered that if they don't deliver that type of content, it can really start becoming a massive negative. So I think the answer is now is to really start showing us some stuff that is going to be coming. Give us a little weekly update, and not just teasing, but actually go through some items, get us a little bit hyped. Don't have to reveal everything, but obviously the Hearth and Home update does sound like it's going to be pretty. So they hit their peak of players, which was 500,000, and since then the numbers have dwindled and dropped, but they're still massively successful. Ark, Conan Exiles, games like that can only dream of getting them kind of numbers. In fact, not many games do. That's why they're in the top 10 of all time Steam game downloads for the game. But the numbers are starting to drop substantially now. We're down to like 60,000 at the weekend, and the weekend is always like the peak time, and that's a huge drop from, you know, the 500,000 it was in February. But again, some of that's quite natural. In the survival world, my experience covering these games, only Ark has really managed to maintain a fairly steady base of between 40 and maybe 70,000 players, and then Rust in the last 18 months has managed to maintain a good amount of players, and obviously a huge amount since streamers took on board all the stuff that was going on with that game. But it wasn't always like that for Rust. They had many ups and downs as well. So the point I'm trying to get across is that these games will have dips. We are going to have droughts where there won't be content and there won't be the players playing the game. And then as soon as the update is here, it's going to hit massive highs again. There will be 400,000 people playing the game again, trust me. And I guess that leaves us with the Hearth and Home. What can we kind of expect? What do we know? Well, we obviously know it's the first update. That's pretty obvious. As you saw, we see some more details creeping in a couple months ago from the original roadmap that was posted. And it's fair to say we're probably going to get some more new build cosmetics to add to our bases. And that's all good. I think a lot of people are happy with that. A real focus of Valheim is the building. That's what's going around at the moment. That's what some of the most popular content still is, showing off people's builds and their creations. And ultimately, that's because people have just kind of run out of stuff to do. They may be exploring. Some of you guys are taking your time, but I know a lot of you now have really powered through and have explored quite a lot of the same sort of stuff now. So it'll be exciting to see what some of this stuff really means. We've seen in the game files that there is iron fragments, so not just iron that you get or iron scraps, but actual iron ore. So maybe digging down into certain areas will get you that iron ore, and that's what I think this is. I don't think it's panhandling or getting resources from a stream or anything like that. I just think someone's dug down and found that there is some iron ore in a certain area. And I'm going to hazard a guess and say it's probably going to be the plains biome. It makes sense. We're not getting any other biomes added. That won't be for months, maybe not towards the end of the year. So yeah, for sure, I can't really see it being anywhere else but the plains. And that would kind of be the next upgrade from getting the iron scraps in the swamp, as the plains is meant to be harder. Kind of, in a way, with them goblins. The only other thing I think I can see it being is clay, and that would help make lots of new clay sort of cosmetic items and buildable pieces and stuff like that. I don't think this is tar pits. Tar pits looks like it's going to be part of the sort of fire biome, the ashlands, much later on in the game. And then finally, the last tease is of course this. Is it going to be an armor stand? That's what I think it is. Other people have said maybe it's actual new armor pieces. But yeah, I'm going to hazard a guess and say it's definitely an armor stand. That's what I think. And I have covered some of this stuff before in lots of videos where I've talked about the interviews they've given. Lots of recipes are coming, so there's going to be obviously a big focus on cooking and new recipes to make, and I guess hopefully new crafting recipes. If they do have the iron as part of that, that's going to open up even more. Obviously we do have iron tools and iron weapons and iron armor, but I definitely think there's a lot more we could be doing with some of them resources. At the moment, we've only really got the iron gate, so maybe there will be some sort of iron build tile set. Now that's just, me surmising, but, if you're going to the effort of getting all this iron, I think people will end up just having lots of it around, since they can just easily make one armor set, one weapon set, and that's it. They never use it again. So it would make sense that it's used more in some sort of building, especially that building is one of the most popular things to do in Valheim. And so more or less, that's where we're at. They said in March they had got through the majority of the real important hotfixes after the game's launch in February. And then we assumed that we would maybe start seeing some news and info or release date of the Hearth and Home update. But it's coming up to mid-May now. It is mid-May, more or less. And we've got so many other games and stuff happening this May. I actually wouldn't mind it being June, but it'd be nice to let us kind of know roughly. And I do. I just want to start seeing a few better pictures of what's to come. It doesn't have to be revealing everything, but if they are going to have a bunch of cosmetics or a bunch of placeables, then they could surely start showing 2 or 3 off in a little update each week. I think that would be a good idea. For sure, as I said, there's going to be hundreds of thousands of people return to this game when that update hits. It's been one of the big phenomenal successes of gaming in years. 7 million players, huge success. But yeah, it would be just nice to get a heads up or a little tease of something. And hopefully, maybe it won't be that long. Maybe it will be towards the end of May that we actually get the Home and Hearth update. As ever, I'll be the first person to let you know. And if you do want to see more Valheim content and you want me to see me cover some more mods and stuff, do let me know as well. Until next time, Ratbags, laters.